Welcome to Scott Ransopher's Poetry Podcast, where I read and discuss my poems. I'm Scott Ransopher. Today I'll be talking about an untitled poem. It begins with the line, "He and his wife were doing all right. Let's get started." In 2001, I wrote and typed an untitled poem. It begins with the line, "He and his wife were doing all right." You can read along with me in description. He and his wife were doing all right. They never fuss and they never fight until Mrs. Moe Jackson moved next door. She used to talk about the people across the street, what they drink and what they eat. She invited his wife over for a cup of tea, ended up talking some stuff about him. He came home from work on one Friday night. His wife jumped up and started a fight. She had his picture from the wall and his shoes on the floor and a moving van waiting at the door. He said, "Woman, are you cracked in the head?" She started talking the stuff that Moe Jackson had said. He said, "Moe Jackson," and said, Mrs. Jackson, value your life. What's this mess you've been telling my wife?" Mrs. Jackson looked at him in a different view. "Ah, gone, boy, ha ha, I haven't said anything about you." He said, Mo, take my advice. If you can't speak once, don't speak twice. You and me will get along all right." The entire poem begins with the line, "He and his wife were doing all right," now on Amazon. Collected Poems, Volume 1, 1995 through 2001. Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. That brings us to the end of this episode. Hope the entire poem begins with the line, "He and his wife were doing all right," was beneficial to you. As always, thanks for listening to Scott Ransopher's Poetry Podcast.